All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to this virtual public meeting on DART On Demand West Des Moines. With me today is Tony Filippini, and our senior transit planner, and he will be walking through the proposed DART On Demand West service. So with that, Tony, I will let you take it away. And just a reminder, the call will mute you, but if you do have a question, feel free to unmute yourself or put a note in the chat and I'll be sure to answer that. So with that, Tony, I'll let you get it started.
Great, thanks a lot, Carissa. And I want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. I'm going to be presenting on some more detailed information about our proposed DART On Demand West Des Moines service. So what I have in front is a couple of slides that go over what the proposal is and why we're proposing this, and then get into the details of what that service would look like. And then from there, have some questions in which we can dive deeper into some questions from the audience that has joined us today, as well as get some feedback on how the service would work, or how you would interact with the service and how that would be different today, and give you some time to think about it and provide us with more feedback. So without further ado, I will jump right into my presentation here. So the proposal here is to launch a new type of service in West Des Moines. This service is something that came out of our transit optimization study. That was the study that was started in 2019. It was actually just adopted here this winter in a couple of months ago. And the goal of the optimization study was to review our services that we provide, and in light of new services that can be provided, in light of new technology and new type of vehicles, in different ways that we can serve our service area in the best possible way. Some of the feedback that we got from our the general themes that emerged from the public feedback that we did during our optimization study was specifically for this area to provide more direct and local trips within this part of West Des Moines. Also was to interact these services with our frequent DART services that come to the area, most specifically Route 3 and Route 52. Those are our local routes that serve 7 days a week in this area. And then also our customers let us know that transit needs to be available through more times of the day. And so all of these taken together brought together a proposal in which through doing some different services can provide more direct trips, and as well as provide some service throughout, provide some service at additional times of the day that we don't currently provide service today. So I'm going to go over what those proposals would look like, and they would come as a package of different changes. The first and largest one would be the introduction to a new on-demand zone. And so I'm going to get into the specifics on that in the next couple of slides. To help support that new zone and to reduce redundancy, and also to focus some more resources on some of these routes that will be more important for transferring, would be to restructure Route 52 in the West Des Moines area. And I'll have some much more detail on what those proposed realignment would look like. And then in addition, it would replace Route 72 completely. And what I'll get into some of the details here is in the proposal that no areas will lose any service, but there are areas that will be served in new ways. So Route 72 is a fixed route that's got a fixed schedule with predetermined bus stops. There would be parts of the route that would continue to be served in that same way. And then there'll be other parts of the route that are proposed to be served in a completely new way, which would be on this Dart On Demand service. So what is Dart On Demand? Dart On Demand is our service that is known as microtransit. And it's a growing way of providing service within the United States. And it's something that's really been brought on by the proliferation of mobile apps and mobile phones and the new technologies that enable doing ride sharing on a more on-demand way. And so microtransit works as a on-demand trip when you request it. The buses don't have a specific schedule. They only operate when a trip is either booked in advance or when it's requested on demand at the very moment. These trips to ride a microtransit service does have to be scheduled either in advance or when you need or when you want to go. The services, as I mentioned, don't use predetermined bus stops. Instead, the service will indicate the closest location to where you specifically are and where you specifically want to go, to the nearest curb or just safest location, usually within a block of your starting location. If when you do request a trip, especially on demand, it would take about 10 to 20 minutes for the vehicle to show up to pick you up. And the buses that would pick you up would be smaller buses like in this photo here, and ones that we are using for our other microtransit that is operating in the city of Ankeny under this same service model. And it's also ones that we use for other services that don't have a lot of people on board, that would need our large fixed route buses that can accommodate 30, 40 to 50 people. These accommodate up to 12 to 18, depending on which vehicle that we have. And we found that to be a plenty large vehicle for this type of a service. The other sort of main item or characteristic of a Dart On Demand service or microtransit is that it travels within anywhere within this predetermined zone, which I'll share with you in just the next slide. And so meaning that it's not going to go in any predetermined way, but that the technology will select the most direct and fastest route, while also picking up other passengers that meet or are within the itinerary in a logical and in a way that would still deliver your trip in a very effective and efficient way. And as I mentioned, this is a service that we started doing in the city of Ankeny in last November. So that's been operating for about 6 months now. And we have learned a lot about how to provide the service, and we feel very confident in terms of sort of the general parameters that this service will operate. We see it being a very similar type of a service. So this is the zone that the microtransit zone would be proposed to operate within. And that's this shaded orange area. This is looking at West Des Moines. For reference, the black dotted lines show where Route 72 operate today. And so you'll see that this shaded zone includes that entire area, everything within it, and then also some areas just past it. And so there's south of I-235, and I'll get to, right. And so north of 235 is which I'll get into in some following slides, would be areas that instead of having Dart On Demand would have Route 52. So if you are used to using Route 72 along the western part of University Avenue, the service would be very similar in this proposal. It's just that Route 52 would pick you up rather than Route 72. But to look back at this zone, as I mentioned, it does include large portions of the existing Route 72. And it includes the Valley West Mall area, along with some of the major retailer shops and grocery stores that are adjacent. It includes the entire Jordan Creek Town Center area, along with areas to the south, such as the Walmart and the Wells Fargo campus. And then also locations that are adjacent or along Jordan Creek Parkway. And then also the Valley Junction area is included in the zone. And down all the way to Fuller Drive would be sort of the southern area border of the zone. So in very broad strokes, the north part would be the interstate I-80 as well as I-235. And then First Avenue on the east side, Fuller on the south, and Mill Civic, and then Jordan Creek Parkway on the west side. The proposed service for this would be for 7 days a week service, which is how often the Route 72 operates. And the hours of service would be proposed to be actually much longer than what Route 72 currently runs. So the current proposal would have service operating, which means you could book a ride at any time during these times, Monday through Friday, starting at 5:30 in the morning until 11:30 at night. On Saturday from 6 a.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. And then finally on Sundays from 7:30 in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening. And then the final sort of major characteristic would be a price of $1.75 for every one-way trip. So this is following the same fare structure as our fixed route service. So if you're riding 72 today or Route 52 today, the proposed price for Dart on Demand would be the same. And that would also be compatible with all Dart passes and existing discounts and programs that are currently offered. So if you have an unlimited access that you use today, that same unlimited access would be available for you to use on a Dart on Demand service as well. So I'm going to go through and we'll definitely have some time to talk more about the zone in particular. What I also want to detail is the northern part, the part north of the interstate, that's going to be replaced with Route 52. So as I mentioned, Route 72 would be completely replaced. And as I mentioned, some of it will be replaced by this Dart on Demand service. And the other parts of it will be replaced on using Route 52, which is a very similar fixed route type service. The service would run more often than Route 72 does today. And for our existing customers that take Route 52, it adds about 5 minutes of travel time between Valley West Mall and Jordan Creek Town Center. But it does open up a lot of new accessible places for people who are traveling on Route 52 along University. So some of the big items to pull your attention to on what are proposed for Route 52 would be for 52 to travel along University. As you see in this graphic, the proposal is for it to follow the same path that Route 52 does along University. So all these locations along this western part of University Avenue, which includes some major retailers, and the medical arts districts that's there at 60th and University would continue to have 7-day-a-week fixed route service. And as some of you who ride 52 know, that this is an express service out of the downtown that travels on the interstate. And then when it gets to Valley West Mall, it would travel along University Boulevard, and it would continue University Avenue, and it would continue operating at a very similar type of a level of service, which is 30 minutes on the weekdays, and then hourly on the evenings. In addition to that, another sort of change would be that it would operate along Vista Drive to get back to Jordan Creek Parkway. So we want to maintain the service that we provide on Jordan Creek Parkway for Route 52. And so this will operate on Vista Drive, opening up some opportunity for fixed route service here as well. As you'll notice, this part is also in the Dart on Demand zone. So if your trip starts or ends in this area, as well as within the zone, you could take Dart on Demand directly there. Finally, a detail to point out, as part of making sure that the schedule will still operate in a very reliable way, it is proposed that the outbound trip on the 52 would not pull into Jordan Creek Town Center, but instead go down 68th Street, still dropping off along the street, and then circling around to the Walmart and Wells Fargo area like it does currently. And then on its return, it would pull into Jordan Creek Parkway, or the Jordan Creek Town Center, behind the movie theater, where the current location for our bus stop is. And so we're very open to hearing feedback about these changes in particular on Route 52, on how that would impact your trip or improve it. So those are the details of what the proposals would be if a Dart on Demand zone would be implemented, and how the fixed route would be modified to best support this new service type. Some of the questions that we're very interested in, and certainly you can give us feedback on things beyond this, but is about the time of day. One of the key items that we're trying to respond to is providing service more times of the day, so that these are more accessible than what we're currently able to provide with Route 52. So I again put up here the different times a day and the different day types and what those proposed times would be. One thing I'd just like to point out, and then we'll open this up if anyone has any comments or questions about it, is these times are aligned specifically with Route 3 at Valley West Mall. And so even in the later times of the day or early morning, it is designed so that you can connect to the first or the last Route 3 that's either pulling in or going back into downtown at Valley West Mall. And so that's why these are, that's why the schedule is designed in this way. Some of the other elements of the service is the fare. So this is a brand new service type for us. What's been proposed is to make it very similar to fixed route, and by similar I really mean identical. And it was really sort of arrived at since Route 50 or Route 72 is being partially replaced, that the cost should not impact our customers that we're asking to change the way that they travel in this area. So we're interested in thoughts on the $1.75 fare, and whether that is a price that would allow you to travel on the service, or that's cost prohibitive. And I'll mention too, we do have a survey on our website, and I'll have the link at the end. But these questions are all addressed in there as well. So if you want to think about it and submit some thoughts in the survey to some of these questions, we certainly encourage you to do that. That survey is open through this month. This next one is really looking at the zone, and we're very interested in learning about the trips that our customers make in this area, and if the zone is the appropriate size. It's a balancing act for staff and to design a zone. Some of the things that we look at is, the larger the zone could mean longer travel times, or it also could mean that there's more people wanting to use it, and it could turn into longer wait times for the bus to come. And so it was an effort to really make sure that the Route 72 customers are able to make very similar trips and hopefully in a more direct and faster way. But also to make sure that we're picking up the major locations that people are traveling to in this area. And some of those include areas such as the Valley Junction area, the services around Valley West Mall, and then also the Jordan Creek Town Center and some of those major employers that are very close to that location as well. And so we're very open and interested in comments about the zone, and if there's any areas that you travel to in this area that's outside of the zone, this would be very good information for us as we continue to evaluate the size and ensuring that it's as useful as it can be. And I'll just mention, but I'll still be on the line. We do have some additional ways to provide some feedback. As I mentioned, there's a survey available on our website. You can also just get to it by going to ridedart.com/West Des Moines. We also are going to be at the West Des Moines Public Library tomorrow evening, starting at 5:30, and that is open to the general public, and everyone is invited to come. We'll have more staff there. We'll be in person. We can answer some additional questions that you might think of over the next 24 hours, or want to look at some maps. We'll have some big boards of the map specifically that we can look at as well. So I just wanted to throw those out there so that you know some other ways to provide your feedback or engage with us some more tomorrow. So sort of the next steps are, we'll be preparing all the public comment that we've received and present to the DART Commission. So for those that aren't familiar, the DART Commission is the governing body that approves things such as the budget and service levels for the DART service system. And it's made up of one member from each DART community. I think there's 12 of them. A lot of them are mayors or city council members. And so DART staff will be presenting a discussion item, presenting the comments that we've received and this proposal at their meeting in June. And then also later on this summer in July, most likely is when the commission would again revisit this and decide when they would like to, how it would look how they would like it to look, and then when to move forward with it. So it could be this fall, it could be next spring, or it could look a little bit different, in which we'll do some additional outreach. But I just want to give you a sense of what we do with the public input and sort of what the next steps are. And those opportunities are always available. DART Commission meetings are always open to the public. And but it certainly will be taking survey responses, or just if you want to write us a letter, or however you want to respond by the end of the month, to get it in by the 1st of June, so that we can prepare that and share that with the commission, is our timeline. But again, as I mentioned, we'll have another public meeting tomorrow that you're welcome to join us as well.
Thank you, everyone. And like Tony said, please fill out that survey on ridedart.com/West Des Moines. Also, we have that public meeting tomorrow. We'll make this recording available. So if you joined a little late, we'll have all this information on the website, and we've recorded this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.